Hey guys, it's Cassie here, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a video talking about how I rate my books. So, first of all, before we even go into that, there's no wrong way of rating books. If you want to rate everything a 1 star and hate everything you read, do it. If you want to rate every book a 5 star and love everything you read, do it. If you want to have some really weird, fangled way of adding everything together and then doing some sort of times table, divide, multiplication to get some sort of median value, and that is your rating, do it. It's a lot of effort, but do it. I said that basically because I feel like my ratings just don't really make sense to anybody other than me, but we shall see. When I do rate stuff, I do sometimes put like 3.5 or 4.25 or whatever in the review, but still got those parameters of 5 stars to work with. So let's start from the bottom. Number 1. I feel like I possibly, to have a 1-star rating, would need to read something that's absolute trash, that's written terribly, that has no redeeming qualities, that's a pile of crap. And luckily I never have, so I've never actually given out a 1 star on Goodreads. I've had Goodreads since October 2015 and I've never given out a 1 star. That's a good thing. I know my tastes. But if I was going to give out 1 star, then I feel like that's what it would be. But then going into that slightly further, I don't know how it would be possible for a book to be that bad. So on to 2 stars, and I have given out some 2 stars. 2 stars for me, in general with 2 stars, it's like, I've read the book, I'm not particularly a fan of the book, but it's not like an absolute pile of shit, you know? But there are different versions of 2 stars. So for example, I've read 2 Black Panther comics, I gave both of them 2 stars. I just find it boring, I found the character boring, I found the writing style boring. I just had no interest in the story. I gave Alice's Adventures in Wonderland 2 stars. I like the concept, I like everything about what's happened since that book came out and things that take ideas and tropes from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, but the book itself I wasn't a fan of. I just didn't like Alice as a main character. She was really irritating. She would just butt in with all of her stupid little kid annoying questions. Why is that? Why is that? What's this? She was just really irritating and I didn't like it. I also gave 13 Reasons Why 2 stars. I feel like this is probably different to other people. I know some people have like a big issue with it because of the suicide rep. My problem with it was just the story and how it was written and how contrived it was to say there was 13 reasons, and there clearly was not 30 reasons. There was about 5 reasons, and then every time a new tape came on, it was like she was just rehashing the other people's reasons. They weren't specific different things, but they weren't little parcels going into the same story. It was just like, what? It was a load of crap. I thought the characterizations was terrible. I didn't know who any of the characters were because throwing these names around, I can't remember if that guy was on tape 3 or tape 7. Who the hell is anyone? I thought the reason that Clay was on the tapes was just completely pointless, and it just felt like he was there to be the nice guy so we could watch him as a tape, and I would have enjoyed it if he'd actually been a bastard to her and there was a reason for him to be there, and then we could have seen that in his head, like, oh, I was horrible to this girl and now she's dead, and like, give us an actual storyline, you know? This is not a review of 13 Reasons Why. Let's move on. I also gave The Red Pyramid, the first book in the Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan, 2 stars. This one, I just thought the storyline was boring. I didn't like the Egyptian gods as much. I thought the 2 main characters weren't as interested in as any other Rick Riordan books. I also feel like I probably marked it down because it was Rick Riordan and all of his other books are so good that that felt even worse than it was. I didn't like the fact there was so much romance going on and the characters are like 12. There's reasons for my 2 stars and everything has different reasons. Let's go on to 3, otherwise we'll be here forever. So 3 stars for me is I liked the book, probably liked the storyline, liked the characters, but it just didn't engage me enough, it didn't grip me enough. There was probably 1 or 2 things I either didn't like or wasn't really bothered about. So for example, I gave The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness 3 stars. There was just something about the story that just wasn't there for me and it didn't feel as good as it could be. The synopsis was really cool and I felt like the story didn't live up to the synopsis. Other things like the Gotham Academy, I thought the artwork was amazing but the storyline was a bit boring, so you know, 3 stars. And then you got things like Shadow and Bone, Warcross, City of Bones. I gave them all 3 stars because maybe there was a little bit too much hype and I read it and I was like, I mean, I kind of like the story but it's not like the best thing I've ever read, so meh. Warcross, I wasn't a fan of the romance and I thought the twist was like the most obvious thing coming. Shadow and Bone, again, maybe it was because it was hyped a lot, but I was like, I mean, it's a cool fantasy, it's alright, but like, why is everyone obsessed with the Darkling? Because it's not that good. Stars is just whatever, in it. It's the Darkling. No one cares. Everyone cares, apart from me, apparently. The Lovely Bones, about 50 pages in, I was like, much, this is going to be a 5-star book. But then the ending really let it down, so it brought it down to 3. I was kind of halfway through, I was like, I'm getting slightly, not bored, but I slightly don't care anymore halfway through. The writing was really pretty and nice, and I liked the story for the first 50, 100 pages or whatever. And then I was kind of like, nah. And then the ending happened, and I was like, 3 stars. The Night Circus, pretty imagery, boring storyline, you know. On to 4 stars, which is probably the hardest for me to categorise, because almost everything I read I mark 4 stars, which probably seems a bit weird to a lot of people. I feel like when I pick up books I'm like, I'm probably gonna like this, and generally I do. But there's such a broad range in 4 stars for me, because I'm so picky about 5 stars. Like, I can absolutely love a book and still put it in 4 stars, and I can absolutely like really enjoy a book but have a lot of things that I don't like about it and put it in 4. I'll give you an example. Apart from City of Bones, I think the rest of the Mortal Instruments I give 4 stars. And if you've been here, you know how much I bitch about the Mortal Instruments and how much I hate Clary and how much I hate Clace and how much the only reason Cassandra Clare mentions Jace is because he's golden and he's got abs and he has no personality. I give that 4 stars. And then also The Raven Cycle, a series that I would count in my top series ever, a series that I absolutely love and adore, and I have no bad thought about it. I can't think, oh, this was a bit I didn't like, or that was a bit I didn't like. Absolutely adore it. Also give it 4 stars. So there's like a lot of mess that goes into 4 stars with me, which is why at the beginning of this I said my ratings don't make sense, so allow it. I do feel like when I reread The Raven Cycle, I will probably put it up to 5. As you will hear in my 5 stars, that's something that happens. But yeah, there's such a broad range. I feel like there's more range in my 4 stars than there is in like everything else together, which is probably a bit dramatic. There's not really that much. I mean, I don't hate anything that I've given 4 stars, but it is a very, very strange one for me. I gave most books I've read 4 stars. Ask me in the comments, I'll probably say I gave it 4 stars. It's just something like, I like a book, I like the characters, I like the storyline. I could even love the characters and love the storyline, but it's not quite a 5, so I have to give it a 4. I told you, doesn't make sense. And then finally on to 5 stars. Now I did mention it a second ago. Some of the 5 stars I've given, for example, The Foxhole Court and Half Bad, I actually gave 4 stars the first time I read them, but then on the reread I gave them 5 stars. So I feel like that's something with me. If I already know the story and I read it again, I'm like, this is amazing. I know this is amazing, but now I've reread it, it's even amazing. I'll give it 5 stars. When I do give out 5 stars, there has to be something that connects me to the book. Either I got extremely emotional, for example, More Happy Than Not, I cried for a third of this book. For like the last 100 pages, I was crying. Not just crying like my throat hurt, my face was red, it was a mess. I had a lot of connection to that book, I gave it 5 stars. A Song of Achilles is another one I gave 5 stars because of the connection and the emotion. I feel like 5 stars is a very emotional thing for me. It's either because it's made me cry loads, or there's just something about it that touches my heart or whatever. I don't know. I don't really have a definitive reasoning. For example, I gave all of the Percy Jackson series 5 stars because they were so engaging and easy to read, and I just ate the story and I read one and then picked the next one and read them. But I also feel like Magnus Chase I might enjoy more, even though I'm pretty sure I gave all of them 4 stars. You see, I don't make sense. And then we have non-fiction. One of Us. I was just, that book impacted me so much. It made me think and made me not read or watch or listen to any true crime for a while, because I was like, why do I care about all of this when it should be about the victims, not the person who did it? So there was a lot of like deep feelings for me for that one. And then we have The Expedition, also a non-fiction, which was about polar travel, and I just found it really interesting and easy to read, and I just read it all in one go, and it was 5 stars. So I'm just going to reiterate, my ratings don't make sense. You've watched this video just for me to tell you at the end they don't actually make sense, so that's how I rate books. Let me know down below how you rate books. Do you have a specific system? Are you somebody that has this big crazy thing, like you look at each aspect of the book and put it together and then times it by 2 and then divide it by 4 and then that's how you get your rating? Or are you just like a mood rater, like a mood reader, a mood rater? I'm like, oh, that book I feel like it's a 3 stars. Because after all these minutes, I think that's what I am. That's what I've explained myself to be. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, please check out some of my others. And if you continue to enjoy them, please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I will see you in a few days with another video. Bye.